And now we're going to get started with our final session for the day, which is social media, recruiting, listening, and disseminating knowledge. And our presenters are Jean Wnuk and Deirdre D. Logan.
So I'm Dee Logan. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. I just wanted to show our acknowledgments about what the mission of the Transitions to Adulthood Center for Research is, which houses our RTC grant from NIDLR. So I'm going to go through these pretty quickly, but participatory action research is really important in what we do at iSpark and within our RTC grant. And we think of participatory action research as a collaborative approach that equally involves all the partners in the research process and recognizes the unique strengths that each brings. And PAR also increases the participants' voice and power in the research context and emphasizes equitable partnerships between researchers and participants. So with PAR, we've found in our experience throughout the years that we've been doing it, that getting the voice of who's really benefiting from the research, which in our center, it's people who have a lived experience of a serious mental health condition throughout the age spectrum. So we want to make sure we include those voices into our research as early as possible. So they're included at the beginning to solicit ideas for the research, like going to them and being, you know, what needs to be done, what gaps are there. And we found that including this really helps make our research and services more accessible once we get through it. It ensures that our services and research are friendly and culturally appropriate because we found different age groups even have different cultures. You don't work with older adults the same way you work with younger adults. And then they can provide more direct feedback on how to improve the services and make them more relevant. So PAR provides the expertise of people with lived experience, and it can increase retention in a study, and it can decrease premature dropout, which leads to better quality of care, greater cost efficiency, and improved population health overall, which most people, you know, as one of the earlier presenters said, you know, study dropout is always a problem and treatment dropout for folks with mental health conditions can happen a lot as well. So keeping the voice of people who went through situations or challenges really helps you have an authentic understanding of how we can change services or increase retention into a study. So PAR also educates the researchers. It is a two-way street. So we gain a sensitivity towards life as a person with lived experience. It makes us aware of community resources and supports, which can later help with dissemination and sharing of your information. It can help with creating materials that will really speak to your population of choice, you know, your community of focus. And it gives researchers an opportunity to engage respectfully with people of all backgrounds, takes us out of our ivory towers, and gets us really working with the people who have expertise in ways that we probably don't. So a few of the ways iSpark incorporates PAR is, as I said before, throughout the lifestyle of the project. So we may use one of our advisory councils that we have that meet regularly and bring an idea to them and get feedback on it as we're writing a grant, or we may have them review sections of a grant. We may ask people to be writers on a grant, and then we'll hire folks with lived experience or go to our advisory boards to get feedback on tools and measures and the way we've written protocols. And as we have a program that kind of leads our efforts, which is our stakeholder engagement program, so that we can kind of make sure that we're including PAR everywhere. We can collect data and give feedback to each of our studies. We've created internships for young adults with lived mental health experience. We have our advisory stakeholder boards, and we have folks who work as consultants, as well as hire folks with lived experience. And now I'm going to turn it over to Jean. Thank you.
Hi, thank you, Dee. So now I want to talk about how we use social media to expand our stakeholder engagement. I kind of think of social media as an informal version of stakeholder engagement. So we use social media really in 3 different ways. The first way is for recruitment. So we are recruiting new members to our stakeholder engagement boards and recruiting research participants. The second area, and it's the area that I want to focus on the most during this presentation, is we use social media really for listening and learning. What are our stakeholders saying on online public platforms like Facebook and Twitter? And third, we use social media to disseminate our research and the work we do. We work really hard to create this online community, and now we have an opportunity to share what we're doing with that community. We use social media as a recruiting tool. So I'm going to talk about this, and then when I get into actually the listening and learning, I'm going to ask a poll question, which I neglected to just ask. But as Dee mentioned, we have several stakeholder advisory boards. Our family advisory board last year, we had a couple members leave, and we were looking to bring on 6 new members. We had a job description, and we used an online tool called Canva. If you're not using Canva to do your to create your graphics, it's a really great online program that is free and makes it really easy to create all of the graphics for your social media and other presentation type products. And we put this together. We took this promotional ad and added it to our social media pages. We did additional recruitment via our local partners pages, like our local NAMI organizations and parenting organizations. And we asked a lot of Facebook groups that we were part of to post this for us. And I am going to talk more about Facebook groups and why I think it's such a great resource that's available to us through social media. Okay, so the bottom line is that through sharing our information over social media, we did get our new members to our family advisory board. So we also use it as a recruiting tool for research projects. And I know that Luke talked about that earlier today. When we have a new project, we create a simple recruitment flyer like the one that you see here for our seed study. And we post that throughout social media, just the way we did our recruitment for the Family Advisory Board. But we also add in Facebook advertising. And I know that if you are a Facebook user, you probably hate Facebook advertising. You see the same ad over and over again, and it's annoying, but they work. And one of the great things about Facebook advertising is you can really target your demographic. You know, we were looking for participants for this study in a certain age range with certain characteristics, and Facebook advertising lets us do this. They have very, very measurable results, and you have a very clear cost of acquisition for each participant. So if you haven't used Facebook advertising, you can select location, you can select age, you can select gender, you can select the person's interests and behaviors, and you can also exclude certain characteristics, which can also be really helpful. And I just tried to think of a simple example, but if you were, for instance, trying to put together a health and wellness program for college students, you could define the demographic of the 18 to 30 age range in this location that are into fitness and health, but that are not working, that are not employed, or so that the likelihood of the people you get, or people who are in college, you have the ability to include and exclude, so you can really narrow your focus. So I won't go over this slide in detail, but you can look at it and see that, like I said, it's very, very measurable how effective Facebook ads are for you. We know how much we spent on the ad. We know how many people saw the ad. We know how many people clicked on the ad. And the bottom line is that we can translate this and say that our participants that we gained through Facebook advertising, it cost us $2.40 to get that participant. I actually see a question in the messages here and in the chat, and is it helpful to have a link on the recruitment flyer to more information? So actually, I think that we did have that, and when I do place these in the social media platforms, they're, in the caption field, we always have a link, because we do have a seed study web page where people can learn more about it, see our confidentiality clause, and then actually apply to see if they qualify to be a participant.
Yes, it linked to a REDCap survey, so all the information was protected for PHI and PPI, so nothing was collected in Facebook. It was all collected outside in a secure area.
Okay, I missed my earlier poll question, which was asking you what social media platforms you use, but I do want to make this one, which I have a poll before talking about this slide, if it could be pulled up. And the question is, let's see, are you familiar with the concept of listening via social media? So I would love to know whether you are familiar and you're actively doing it, or you're familiar and you don't do it at all, or you have no idea what I'm talking about, or you're familiar but you simply don't have time. So give you a second and then we'll see what the results are. All right, no, and tell me more. That's what I was hoping everyone would say. Okay, in the business world, social listening is when you track your social media platforms for mentions and conversations related to your brand, and that enables you to act on what you're hearing. For our purposes as researchers, we use it to confirm our ideas about research that needs to be done, or discover new needs that people are talking about that aren't being met. It also gives us the opportunity to engage in conversation with stakeholders and to share our content whenever it's appropriate. So this is a great follow-up presentation to Heather's presentation, which you just watched, where she talks about the benefits of doing this. The rest of my presentation is a little bit more hands-on. So I'm really going to focus on the highlights of how you can listen and disseminate on Facebook and on Twitter with some specific tactics. Okay, how does our center listen? We use Google Alerts. We use Twitter hashtags, college, hashtag college mental health, college youth mental health. We monitor Facebook groups and other pages, and we participate a lot, as much as we have time for, in the Facebook groups and on other pages, especially using these resources to disseminate. If you're not using Google Alerts, it's a really great tool to keep on top of what is being discussed in your fields of interest in the research community that you're a part of. It's a simple process of going to google.com/alerts and entering in keywords or phrases that you are interested in that you want to be notified about. You enter in your email address and where you want to receive the alerts, and you can set it up to get alerts, once a day or once a week. And why do you do this? It allows you to engage in conversation, share content, and increase understanding. So I don't know if you can see this on your screen. Not sure how big everyone's screens are, but this is what the alert page looks like. And I'm searching for pandemic, college, depression. At our Transitions to Adulthood Center for Research, we focus a lot on young adults, transition age adults with mental health conditions, and a lot on post-secondary education. So I want to know what's going on, who's talking about this, what's being said, how do we communicate and build relationships with the people doing the talking. This is a sample of the alert that I get each day. So I get an email, and you can see that the keywords up on top are mental health, college, and pandemic. And underneath, you can see that there are articles posted from NBC News, from USA Today, and from, I can't really even read the last one, the Philadelphia Inquirer. So what I'm getting is I'm getting new content that is being loaded into Google, or new content that Google is finding and indexing and loading into the search engine on this particular topic. Now, this is awesome because this is information that I can share on our social media pages. And I can do that by simply clicking on the little icon of the Facebook or Twitter icon under each article and saying where I want to share it by and adding any additional content I would like and sharing that. And it also oftentimes gives me opportunity to discover new people and organizations that are talking about the same thing that we are interested in talking about. If you were able to scroll down my email, you would see that there's a very long laundry list of keywords that I keep track of, but they're delivered by Google in an email that shows like the top 3, and then you can click to see more results under each of these. We also do a similar thing in Twitter with using Twitter hashtags. So we think about the hashtags or keywords that are meaningful to our organization. BIPOC mental health, college mental health, IEP. Everyone is going to be different in terms of what's important to your organization. And we monitor those hashtags. And you can do that manually within Twitter, or you can do it with a third-party tool like Buffer or Hootsuite or HubSpot. And this is a great way to see whether a new topic of research is being discussed and who's talking about it. BIPOC stands for Black, Indigenous, People of Color. And it's become the new acceptable term, at least in the mental health community, versus using the term minority. So the couple months ago was Minority Mental Health Month, and that is kind of evolving into BIPOC mental health. It's an acronym. That was a message that I just saw in the chat. I'm going to show you screenshots of these in a moment, but also in Twitter, we use the list feature to follow important influencers on our topics of interest, which again makes it easier to respond and engage with them. If you are a Twitter user, you probably have a Twitter feed which just goes on and on and on and has, lots of different topics. And list is a feature of Twitter that lets you segment that information by your particular areas of interest. We use a lot of hashtags in our posts that also makes them easier for other people to search on these topics and find us. And I know many people who are in this conference are doing this right now, but using hashtags around a particular topic or event, like hashtag KTDRR20, talking about this particular conference, is a great way to find and be found. So anyone who is on Twitter today and uses the hashtag KTDRR20 hashtag, I'll take a look after this presentation and see what you wrote, and we can follow you and share information. The same applies for tagging other users with their names. So really quickly, here's just a screenshot of Twitter where we're entering in the hashtags up in the search box up top, and that allows you to see everyone that's talking about that particular hashtag. See if there's anybody new there that you'd like to partner with or communicate with or share information with. This on the left-hand side in the column, I have a very faint little pink red arrow down to the list function. So I have to be honest and say I just started using this in the past year, but it's really, really helped a lot. So you can create multiple lists. My top list here is college specific. So it's all of our partners and all of the people, kind of the experts in the field around college age mental health. And that's just the tweets from those people. I have another list of mental health organizations. So that's a lot of the major, large mental health organizations like Mental Health America. I have a list that I've created called mindfulness practices. And that's the list that includes organizations that people like Tiny Buddha and Brene Brown, who create these really nice looking words of wisdom. And sometimes on a Friday afternoon, when I just want to make a post that says, have a great weekend and think about taking care of your mental health, I'll go there and just find somebody who said something that I can retweet and share the work that they're doing to the people that are following us. This is just a screenshot from a product called Hootsuite. And what I like about Hootsuite, it allows you to compile all of your social media in one place. So what you're seeing right here is you're seeing a feed, you're seeing a dashboard for our Transitions to Adulthood Center for Research Twitter account. So the first column that you see there is our tweets. There's a column that you can set up called retweets. There's a column which is really great that you can set up and search for just the content from your new followers. So it's an opportunity to look at this, follow them back, comment and welcome them, share something that might be pertinent to them. And the last column here, and this is what I like most about a product like Hootsuite, is you can set up keywords to follow. So this is a stream that is just focused on content that includes the words or the hashtags college mental health. And I am able to scroll across and have multiple, I think 8 or 9 columns here of different content. And it just gives me, again, a way to kind of be way more organized and intentional about how I'm using Twitter to communicate directly to the people and that I'm most interested in and get content from the people that I'm most interested in. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about monitoring Facebook groups and pages. So we talked about using Google Alerts as a way to listen and to learn, and we talked about using Twitter hashtags as a way to listen and learn, and now I want to talk about Facebook. Mostly everyone seems to have Facebook these days, but the largest segment of people that don't seem to have Facebook seem to be the researchers that I work with. So I've tried to be the eyes and ears to what kind of our stakeholders that are most often like the end users of our research, and I find them on Facebook. So first of all, if you have a Facebook page, you need a Facebook page to have a Facebook page for your organization. You need a personal page to have a page for your organization, and then you can be a moderator or an editor of your organization's page. It is possible to like other pages as your organization, not just yourself personally. That makes it super easy to comment as your organization as opposed to from yourself personally. Some people don't know that you can prioritize what you see in your Facebook feed. So Facebook gives you the ability to say, these 30 people or organizations, I want them to be the first ones I see in my Facebook feed every time I open up Facebook. So I do have that set up with a lot of the mental health organizations that I want to keep tabs on. And it allows me to see their content first and quickly and engage often. I do probably check Facebook 4 or 5 times a day. And, it really just takes seconds to make a post from iSpark or from Transitions to Adulthood Center for Research, commenting on what they have to say. And finally, I join Facebook groups as often as I can as our organization. That's something where I'm always asking permission before I do that. And if they're comfortable with that, it's a great way to listen there and see what people are saying around the particular topic, your topic of interest. So this is a picture of my personal Facebook page. And you can see up in the search box, I have done a search for parents, children, mental health. What I come back with when I did that search was a whole bunch of different groups. Parents of children with mental health conditions, disorder support group, parenting, mental health, Massachusetts families with children with mental health issues. And all of these groups, are private, and you usually have to ask a couple questions to join them. So I answer the questions and I say who I am and what I'm doing. And most of them invite me in, and, basically what I tell them is I sometimes have information that might be useful to a particular topic that's being discussed, and I would love to be able to share it. And they say, okay, and that's what we do. As you can see on the right-hand side of this screen that there's here's a sample of some of the other pages that we've liked as our organization. So if you see a post, so here's a post from Mental Health America, and I want to make a comment on it because they're talking about something that we are interested in. So in the lower right-hand corner under likes and comments and shares, to the right of that is a little icon that usually has your picture there, but with a little drop down, and you can click on that and you can choose the organization, the page that you want to comment from. So this just happens to be, I'm a moderator of a handful of Facebook pages, including my daughter's small businesses, but here I can click on Transitions to Adulthood Center for Research and comment from Transitions. So I want to say that posting on our Facebook pages and our Twitter pages allows me to talk to people who already know about us. Posting on other pages and commenting and inquiring and sharing introduces my organization to these other organizations. It's kind of like mingling at parties, where you go to a party with a group of friends and you get there and you all talk amongst yourself with your friends, and you see these people over here and over here talking in their small groups, and everybody you're talking to already knows you. I feel like social media is an opportunity for us to go out and talk to some of those other groups. And the way that you accomplish that is by sharing and talking and inquiring on other pages beyond your own pages. So this is a little bit of just kind of a rehash of what I've already been saying. but I'm participating on Facebook as my organization. I'm adding comments to articles, to news of interest. I'm tagging other organizations so that they can see our posts. And I'm always asking permission before I post in private groups. So lastly, I want to just spend a couple quick minutes, let's see, talking about using social media for dissemination. If you've understood what I've talked about when it comes to listening, you'll know that I'm disseminating our content really at the same time. So I'm posting content on our own pages. I'm sharing on other pages, the groups and through partners. I'm setting up alerts on topics to monitor other conversations that we can engage in. And I wanted to kind of share what I feel like is a successful dissemination strategy, at least for us. If you take a look at our Facebook pages or our Twitter pages, and even our Instagram, which we're starting to build up, about a third of the content that we post is our original content. It's our tip sheets, it's our research briefs, it's our webinars, and then about a third of the content is reposting of other people and organizations' relevant content. And that's where a lot of all of those alerts that I use come into play, where I'm looking for information that other people and organizations are presenting to be able to share with our users. So we are perceived as an expert in this field of research that we're doing. And then a third of our content is just really is engaging, relatable content. For example, this meme that our Young Adult Advisory Board put together. When your therapist wants you to confront your fears. Now, this doesn't really have a whole lot to do with what we do, other than the topic is mental health. But this is the kind of content that makes people smile, that they understand, that they can relate to, and that they like, and that they tend to reshare on their walls in their Twitter feed. So this content is important because it is the stuff that brings more people in and introduces other people to our organizations. This is a quick example of a tip sheet that we put together. It's a tip sheet on how young adults can manage their loss of income during the COVID-19 pandemic. And it's just an example of the fact that we posted it on our page. So on the left, you see it posted on our Facebook page. In the middle, you see it reposted on a page from PAL, which is a parenting support group and advocacy group in our area. And on the third one, you see it posted in a private Facebook group called Massachusetts Transitions to Adulthood. So it's kind of made the rounds. So the takeaways that I hope you have from this presentation is social media can be used as a recruitment tool. It's just one of the tools in the toolbox there. But I say I love social media as a way to listen to stakeholders and an opportunity to educate us on their needs and goals and engage in the process. And that it's important to invite other people beyond your pages to listen to you by using the hashtags or tags and by contributing to conversations happening in places beyond your social media pages. Mingle, build your connections in your community and grow stakeholder engagement by sharing your content on social media beyond your own pages. I think that I might be a broken record on that one. But particularly right now where we're not meeting in person and we can't mingle at conferences and events and meetings the way we were able to do, social media is a great way to make that happen. We started out the presentation with Dee talking about participatory action research and our live, real people, advisory board members. And while social media helps us expand, in a sense, our group of stakeholders and advisors, it's always important to utilize and continue and maintain and build the real life relationships with our advisory board members and partners, because they also are often a great resource to help us share our content. Thank you. Thanks for giving us the opportunity to present here. And if you have more questions about social media, I'm happy to answer any question I can. And if you'd like information about our stakeholder engagement programs or how to create them, then Dee is a great resource there. So here are our email addresses.